What's your favourite moment with the alien in Alien?
I think it has to be when it just pops out and just goes, Bleh! It's so funny. That's this unstoppable killing machine just surprises people the same way people surprise like 1-year-olds. Bleh! Alien is a film carried by amazing cinematography, direction and acting, all working in tandem to make a guy in a rubber alien suit seem like the most terrifying thing in the entire world. Weirdly, while you would think that the person wearing the restrictive rubber alien suit would be the most uncomfortable person on set, it was actually the people wearing spacesuits.
So before we get onto that,
Yeah.
the alien itself,
Yes.
it's a guy in a suit.
Yeah, it's a guy in a rubber suit for almost every single scene. I think there's a few things done with puppetry, but almost every other scene starring the alien is literally just a guy in a rubber suit doing his damnedest to make that thing scary. And there are a couple of scenes where you can tell that the alien is a guy in a suit. We've mentioned it before, but we'll mention it again because the scene is hilarious. It's like the deleted moment where the alien crab walks away from somebody, and you can very clearly tell it's like a guy wearing a dumb rubber suit and blah, 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 blah. And they cut that out because it just made the alien seem less scary because it draws you out of the fact it's an alien.
It's just Zoidberg.
Yeah, it's Zoid. When you have, do you know what? Put the deleted scene in, but with the Zoidberg audio over it, because that's how stupid it looks like without it anyway.
So who was the guy wearing the suit?
That was a Nigerian student called Balahi Badeho, and I'm hoping I got that right because this dude's fucking awesome. The alien is his only acting credit ever. He wasn't an actor. The story goes, he's just a really fucking tall guy, a member of the production crew bumped into in a pub and went, oh, he could be an alien, all right, let's get him in. Prior to casting Badeo, various people considered for the role were like Peter Mayhew, the guy who played Chewbacca, and circus-level contortionist, but none of them could just get, the movement quite right. Because the reason they've got Mayhew in first, obviously, tall guy, he's too bulky. He's too bulky to play the suit, we can't get the suit to fit him. Contortionist obviously can fit inside the suit, but they just don't have the same presence as someone of Mayhew's height. And they were like, well, how do we get someone who combines both of these elements? And they found their answer in Badeo, because in addition to being very, very tall, he was also very thin, giving him almost inhuman proportions when he's in costume, which helps better sell him as something not of this earth. And I think there are only a few production stills of this guy still to exist, but you can tell that even when he just stood up next to people, he's fucking ginormous, and it's terrifying. And it just helps you just imagine that the thing you're seeing on screen isn't a guy in a costume, this is an alien. And obviously that's combined with the acting, the direction, and the cinematography of the scenes. So one of the things I fucking love about the alien is that they gave it a similar appearance to the parts of the ship, which allows it to hide and pretend to be things like, pipes. Because I think there's a moment, obviously, where someone goes into the engine room and there's a pipe, and it's no, it's not a pipe, it's the alien. That goes down to the biomechanical origins, H.R. Giger, the guy who did the original design of the alien, was going for. It's a combination between the mechanical and the biological, hence the term biomechanical he used to describe it.
So if this was just some random guy they picked up in a pub...
Literally, yes.
Why did they assume he'd be better than, say, a contortionist at the role? Was there a particular thing he did?
Not initially, no. He was cast purely because of his height combined with his thinness, which obviously said it's going to make him look inhuman in the suit. Even though he wasn't an actor, Badeo was still committed to playing the best alien he could. And he went for this performance that was not what the producers expected, but they ended up loving, where he slowed down his movements. He's what is described as a mantis-like performance, where he very slowly moves his arms to make the alien appear less like a mindless killing machine, which the producers ended up fucking loving, because it elevated the alien from just this mindless killing machine to a ruthless and calculating monster that was stalking its prey. And there's another aspect of the alien design that I think plays into that, and that's something that was handed down by Giger himself when he was designing the creature. Initially, and I'm not sure if you can find the early production stills of this, the design of the alien skull had a human skull inside of it, through which you could see two empty eye holes. And Giger went, I don't like that, and instead just give it the black carapace you can't see through, visible in virtually every iteration of the alien seen in film so far. And his idea behind that was that it's scarier if you don't know it's looking at you.
Yeah.
You don't know where the alien's looking. And to my knowledge, they've never firmly established how aliens see the world. Isn't that a neat little detail that you probably never noticed until I just mentioned it?
Yeah, because I guess like I can picture it. It's obviously got the mouth.
Yes, it has what we would understand to be a face,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have eyes. And doesn't that make it scarier? Because obviously,
Well, it does now.
In horror, mystery is always scarier than knowing. It's like if you don't understand what the thing that's trying to kill you is, it automatically makes it scarier. Which is why I think the alien is probably one of the scariest things like in fiction, because it lives exclusively in the dark. Unless you're watching Alien Covenant, where it's just like headbutting a fucking windscreen in broad daylight.
I got eyes on it. It's right fucking in front of me.
I think I may have mentioned this before, but when you talk about mystery and horror films,
Yes.
I'm a huge advocate of exactly that. Like, you should not show the thing that is stalking people or until the end.
You can show it, but never explain it. Because if you don't explain it, your mind will fill in the gaps. And generally, with most people, the thing they think up will be what's scariest to them. And obviously, once you explain it, you take that away, and it lessens the impact. And I'm a big advocate as well. Like terrible CGI fucking monsters ruin horror movies, which is why I'm a big part of practical effects. And my personal favourite is the film Wreck.
Right.
You ever seen this?
No, but I think you have mentioned
Right,
it.
Wreck is a film I highly recommend people go watch. I think it's Spanish or something like that. It's and they made a shot-for-shot remake of the film called Quarantine, which sucks ass. Because I think the fact that you don't understand what the people are saying half the time makes it scarier. And throughout the film, you never find out exactly what's going on until the second film where they tell you, oh no, it's a religious thing and it's a demon. And it's like, oh cool, okay, thanks, great. And it fucking ruins the film. It's so stupid. But anyway, and at the end of the film, they have the creature reveal. And like the alien, it is a practical effect played by a very tall, very thin man called Javier Botet. Or Botet, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, I apologise. And he suffers from Marfan syndrome, which gives him really long arms and giant hands, which just give him it's this gaunt, unnatural, inhuman appearance that he has decided to monetize by just playing movie villains and monsters in movies. You know what? Play the hand you dealt. Fucking respect to the guy. If you just put the clip in, it's so terrifying. It's like Badeo, he realised that it's all in the physicality of what I'm doing. And he just played, and I can't describe it, where he's just combined with the sound like this guttural moaning of just this giant, long-limbed creature, just walking through an environment is the most terrifying fucking thing in the world, because in your head you go, well, that's not CGI. How the fuck did they do this? What is this thing? I can't explain it, and that's terrifying.
Surely wearing a skin-tight rubber suit when you're a tall man is not going to be particularly comfortable.
It wasn't, and it's noted that the suit, when Badeo first tried it on, didn't fit properly. Although he never complained once, which earned him the nickname The Quiet Man on set. But even
also creepy.
Yeah, even as uncomfortable as it was, it didn't even compare to how uncomfortable the spacesuits were.
So what was wrong with the spacesuits?
Well, for a start, they initially didn't contain any sort of cooling system, which doesn't sound ideal, and gets even worse when I point out that they were filming Alien during a heatwave. So, yeah. And these two things, you think, well, that's bad, but it's not terrible. It's uncomfortable, but it's not dangerous or life-threatening as long as you get lots of fluids and take it off every now and again. So I should point out as well, the suits also had no venting system, which meant that when the actors put the helmet on, and it basically just became hermetically sealed, and they were at full risk of just collapsing from carbon dioxide poisoning and dying. But at this point, there might be someone out there who's thinking, well, these are actors, they signed on to do this, they knew the risks. Which I'd like to counter by saying, well, Ridley Scott's kids didn't, and neither did the kids of a random cameraman. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about here. Well, do you know the space jockey shot? Do you know they walk up and they find the space jockey, that famous shot, this giant fucking alien, and they're observing it. Well, Ridley Scott didn't think that set looked impressive or imposing enough when the actors, were walking around it. So what he did is, rather than, what's going on already, but I need to explain it, is rather than redesign the entire set, he had smaller versions of those spacesuits made that didn't have cooling or venting in them, put his own 2 sons and then the son of one of the cameramen into those suits, and then made them walk around the set to make the space jockey look bigger. And do you want to guess what happened to these kids?
I imagine they had a pretty bad time.
They did, yes, and I believe one of them passed out. And obviously Ridley Scott realised, I'm like, oh fuck, this is probably a bad idea. And he said, okay, I'm going to get a nurse on set who has oxygen. And then the prop makers also went, oh fuck, and then put a cooling and venting system into the suits for future shots. Yeah, these actors all signed on. Did your fucking kids though? It's like, oh, do you want to come to work with Dad today? You want to see a movie get made? Put this uncomfortable as all balls suit on and walk around sweating your own bollock juices and then pass out. So yeah, contrary to what you might expect, given that, the alien suit was being worn by a 7-foot tall man and it didn't fit, it was less uncomfortable than the space suits worn by everyone else. Because at least the alien suit didn't nearly fucking kill the guy wearing it. Oh god, movies are dumb. Speaking of being filmed while being warm as balls, I think we're going through like a mini heat wave at the moment, and this air conditioning is doing its fucking job, but I'm still a bit warm, so let's remove this shirt for a while and advertise this lovely product people can buy in our merch store. But also, let's talk about other behind-the-scenes nonsense that happens, because it's so common, isn't it? Like
it's less common nowadays.
Yes.
Because obviously there's a lot more regulations in place.
Not to mention actors are a lot smarter about how they get their contracts written. But
like you hear stories from like the 70s and 80s or earlier that are like horror stories.
Not even that, it's just I had to do something super dangerous and the director didn't give a shit. I think like James Cameron is notorious for this. And I think it's the set of Abyss where an actress complained like, oh, I really need the bathroom. And rather than obviously, if she has to go to the bathroom, you have to take the costume off. She had to, go to the bathroom, come back, put the costume back on, go through hair and makeup again. And he said, no, fuck it, just piss in the water. So she had to piss herself in the water as everybody watched.
Yeah, if people don't know about the making of the Abyss, most of the shots I think were filmed
underwater.
Yeah, in a giant swimming pool that they built. And then apparently, because it was the main issue was that it was really cold.
Yeah, and also as well, all the actors were told to piss in it.
Yeah.
So also it was full of piss.
But it was so cold that I think they had a hot tub built next to it for them to warm up. And people were always going, oh, it must be great working on a film. So you get to swim all day and go in a hot tub. It's like, we nearly die every day.
Even the biggest stars in the world weren't immune to this shit, though. It's like James Cameron, again, Terminator 1. Arnold Schwarzenegger, then he's just coming off the back of like Conan the Barbarian, so he's like hot shit at the moment. James Cameron made him do all sorts of bullshit. We talked before, haven't he? He poured like this weird acid on his coat to make it appear he was on fire. He sprayed fucking Vaseline on his face every day, so he looked like he was just constantly sweating. He made him walk up and commit a crime when he put punches through the window of the car because he wanted to get a good shot. So
I think if we go all the way back though, like before CG was even a thing, even further back, etc. Like any stunt you see in a film is real.
Yes.
Like even the large set pieces full of like thousands of people are real.
Well, they're the famous ones out there. It's is it Ben-Hur, where just loads of horses died?
Yeah.
Because they just fall over and die, and then they shoot them. And that led to obviously the creation of that no animals were harmed during production thing. Because so many animals were just getting fucking killed to make movies.
We've done a video before about Buster Keaton and how all of his stunts were real and incredibly dangerous.
Yes. And he was obviously big dick baller and just took it. But how many other stuntmen from that era got seriously injured because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing? The safety regulations weren't there because the director wanted to get a good shot. Like moving on to modern movies, like a lot of martial arts movies, is an unspoken rule that you are going to get punched. We've talked before about The Raid, where the actors and the extras and the people in the fight scenes would just talk to each other and say, okay, you're going to get punched. Like, you drew the short straw. Today's your turn to get punched in the face really hard. I'm sorry, but we need it for the shot. So working on a movie sounds like hell, doesn't it?
Oh, God.
What is it? It's, I think even just like movies where you get to have fun, it's a lot of CGI. Like, if you think like Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds says, oh yeah, that suit just tastes like arsehole. So obviously you've got to wear the mask all the time. So
he's got it over his mouth,
You're breathing into the mask and then obviously it goes straight into your nose. So you're just smelling your own breath all day. And just breathing in your own bad breath or whatever you ate for lunch for like 4 hours a day. I feel uncomfortable enough just stood here in front of some studio lights, sweating my balls off. I can't imagine how much sweatier I'd be in a fucking leather rubber suit. And then being told, now being an alien for 6 hours.
I was about to say, what's the most uncomfortable thing you think you've done for the channel?
With the channel, it's got to be that fucking mask that cut my chin. But it just makes you like really appreciate the actors who spend not only all the time studying from the cameras, but like the 6 hours doing makeup. Like Nebula in all the Avengers movies. That took so fucking long to put on. I was in the chair from like 4 a.m, and then they make me go do fight scenes for 5 hours, and then I come in and I can't even go home straight away and see like my family and my kids and shit because I've got to take it all off, and I'm just blue. Or I think the actress who played Mystique in the first X-Men movie, that it dyed her skin. And she said, obviously, she ended up swallowing so much of it during scenes, she vomited up blue. And there was one night where she was out drinking with Hugh Jackman, and they did tequila, and she vomited blue all over him. Suffering for your art, man. You got to do it. Suffer for your art.